Hello everybody and welcome back to the pYanodons playthrough. It's your ghostified gamer, and boy, I got lots of stuff to go over today. First, let's go over the projects we'll be working on. I want you to get to that. I want to get to that right away so you know what we're headed towards. Trits. We have to get a trit build. We unlocked this a little while ago, and look at that. I have some trits. There they are. I spun these up already. I got 3. 2 for the, well, we need 1 for the complex here, the reproductive complex. We need 1 for the module here, and then 1 to get 2 cubs. And once we get the cubs, 2 cubs, we get 4 trits. 1 cub to 2. So we get 2 to 4, and that'll spin up pretty quick. And as you can see, we're gonna need filtration media and all this other stuff here, saline water. I'm glad I took that seaweed upgrade because now we need saline water for this stuff here. So that's the breeder, and then here is the maturing part, I guess. And it requires the same stuff. So I have this in Hell model broken out. We'll get to that. The next project we'll be working on today is over here. Oh, and I'm up in this area above the hub because I have more room up here to muck around. We have electric motors that we can do now because we have the advanced small parts. So these things are kind of crazy. The amount of, I think it's shafts here, yeah. You need a lot of shafts for these, holy cripes. Iron Nexlet, antimony, special alloy, small parts, solder. We need 5 of these things to feed this one stator, or rotor, yeah. The rotor, and then we need a stator and 100 copper cable for this thing here. So we're gonna be cranking some copper out with this, and then that gets assembled in here. Okay, and the reason we're gonna do the electric motor is because Labware has another recipe. This is the current one. I put I just put number 1 in here, 60 a minute, no big deal, And this particular example requires 300 rubber a minute, 5 heavy oil refineries, 25 pressure furnaces for the latex. Now we go to the laboratory instrument number better recipe. The same baseline, 150 a minute. It's a reduction of half of the rubber. And it's 2.5 machines versus 3.5 to produce the same amount. What it's requiring is the electric motor or engine unit, and it's only 1 to get 100% productivity. Basically, it goes from 2 to 4 of the laboratory instruments. I broke out everything here just to get the gauge of how many of the heavy oil refineries we need. So it goes down from 5 to 3.62. And the latex pressure furnaces goes from 25 to just over 18. So we could say 18. So it's 7, reducing that by 7. So that's why we're going to do this. Once we get the motor, the electric motors, I add it to the requester on the Labware laboratory instrument build, and then change the recipe over because I have only 2 machines there. So we're going to be cranking Labware. It's going to be nuts. There's a couple more things I got to go over. I wanted to go over this really quick here. We're going to be working towards the optical fiber, which is not only an ingredient to the complex circuit board, but also the chemical science. And the photophore is what we need. That's why we're going to spin up the trits, because when we render the trits, we get the photophore. And that is what we need for the optical fiber. That's one of the ingredients. The iron niobium coating is insane, but I think we could do it. I think we could pull it off. These 4 machines here are going to be separate as well, or these components. We need this for science and complex circuit board, but we need these 4 to do the electronics too. And each one of these is an industry in itself. We need all this stuff here for the medium power resistor. Boric acid. This is coming up a lot now. What I'm thinking of doing is a separate boric acid build and training it over to other things from now on. Here it is again, boric acid for our electronics. This is the electrolytic capacitor. Look at the aluminum pulp stage 1. We need that for our electrolytic and our MOSFET. So I'm going to do probably a separate build of that and train it in. I haven't looked at any of this stuff yet here. The rare earth oxides might be a separate build too. I don't know about the NiSi, silicon carbide. The heavy N-doped and all this dope stuff, I'm not sure about. Plastic bars, we're going to be redoing that in the future, near future. We're going to have to get to that casein version of it because the plastic build will not, the current one that we're using syngas and aromatics for, it's not going to be able to hold up going forward. So we're going to rebuild that and get the new one. So these 4 here are going to be offered to the network. Well, 5. All of these are going to be offered on a separate, and we're going to do a separate build. We're going to have an LTN pickup for them. We're going to need this stuff for building as well, So we need the electronics too and all that good stuff. So we'll do the motors, Trits, that photo 4 and all this crap. Once the science is done, let me go over the science really quick. I've been running this overnight, and I'm going to have to continue to run it overnight because we have these 23,000 ones here. So I've been running this base constantly just to get through this research. If we go here, I'll give you a little base update. There's the 1 hour. There's the 10 hour. There's the 50. So I've been running this, 50 hours of research straight out. Granted, we're running off of level 1 machines and all this low tech, basically. And this is where I spun up the Trits right here, that little blip. So that just gives you an idea of how many hours I've gone. There's 250 right there. So right here. Oh my God, it's going to be insane. So 50 hours we've been running consistently. Let's go over some things that I updated in the hub here. I was able to optimize the base and reduce train traffic considerably by doing a couple things. Okay, now that we have the advanced small parts, I can do this recipe here. The long-handed inserter, it requires just advanced small parts and lubricant, and now we get 15 of the long-handed inserters. Amazing. We also have this recipe that I updated too. It's a little more complex, so I'm not too sure how much we're gaining here. Add the control panels, gearbox, and 10 advanced small parts plus lubricant. The electronics goes down drastically though. The regular inserter did not require the electronics. And if we go here, it didn't require it. So the Vitter alloy got pulled out of there. And now we're putting in the advanced small parts. So it's kind of interesting. But we're getting 15 fast inserters out of this recipe. So that's pretty good. I'm okay with that. I think the big winner is this one right here, the filter inserter. It reduced the amount of electronics we need. It increased the intermetallics, but that's because we need 5 inserters, fast inserters. Added control panel, advanced small parts, and lubricant, but we're getting 15 filter inserters out of this. So that's amazing. I moved the mini loaders down here now. And we have also a recipe that I forgot about when I was moving stuff around. I go, hey, I can update this engine unit recipe. So all you have to do is add belt in, and we can do the engine unit 3. Instead of 1, now we get 3, just by adding a little bit of rubber. So I thought that was a no-brainer, so we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. Up here, I've been cleaning stuff out. This is where the stuff was before. Breeding changes. What I noticed, and I forgot to mention this in a prior episode, is that if we go to the, if I could find the Ulrich build, here, they have updated the, I think the breeding complex and the paddocks, whatever they're called for the whatever creature we're breeding. They removed the part of the recipe where you have to export the adult and then import it back in. It didn't make sense to do that. I understood why they were doing it. Kind of interesting. Now the module is the adult. So I don't know. I hope it doesn't screw up Hellmod going forward. I think they did that because of Hellmod. It wasn't resolving, and maybe that got fixed somewhere along the line somewhere. I don't know how. We don't need the adults anymore. The exception is like Cotton Guts and the Trits, where we have to put adult in and we get the cubs out. So it consumes the adult. So I don't mind that recipe actually over overall. I think this one makes it a little easier because you don't have to belt the adults all the way up to the complexes, because these builds get nuts. Look at how big that is, you know? And I have to belt the adults all the way up and have all this belt material, and it doesn't, I don't know, I think they should just leave the modules to be the adults and be done with it. I added a seaweed build down here. Finally, I was able to get to it. It basically, I don't know if this, it somehow, all my train traffic is like, I would say 50 or more % reduced. When I added this build here, because I think that the base was struggling with the seaweed. You know, look at this. I got 2 trains coming for seaweed. These were all lit up constantly. Seaweed, 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 seaweed. I think that this is a good thing. The not having saline water for the seaweed is an amazing turd research that we grabbed. Also, if you guys know what this means, I don't know if this means that I can't, there's requests that are waiting for something and I can't provide it because there's not enough trains. I don't know what this means on this side here under the LTN manager mod here. We have all this stuff here, but I don't know what this is. You know, like, I think that there's a train waiting to go there, but, you know, it can't get there until it's released. I think that's what that means. I added this build, and I also, by optimization, what I mean by this is the moss build is an example here. I'm looking at these builds, and I'm trying to find out where things are struggling, you know, fixing bottlenecks and issues. I made the threshold 1,000, the request amount 3,000, and I fixed a lot of the moss issues that I was having. The problem I was having was the stone was starving out too quick, so I had to up that. That got fixed, and I've been going through other builds and seeing, like, why are trains traveling so much to this build? You know, I'll watch a build and I'll observe it, or I'll find an issue and I'll start to investigate it, and I'll change the threshold amounts. I'll maybe add some stops or whatever, you know. So that's been working out. There is a mini loader glitch I wanted to point out, and I find it hilarious. And Krydex found this, and I was watching one of his live streams. The mini loaders will input at the speed of the belt. So we're actually benefiting right now by having mini loaders and red belt. Now, normally you would have inserters doing this crap, right? So I'll take it, right? Because I could put a bunch of fast filter inserters on this and fill these chests. So, hey, we'll take it. I've been doing some... Now, speaking in terms of the mini loader glitch, I upgraded the mining ops to red belt. Only a few, not a lot, just the stone for now. I might do some others that are struggling, but for now, the stone is by far the worst. This is at 51 million. It went down by 2 million in a couple hours. So yeah, it's chewing up the stone quick. Here's another example of a red belt upgrade where it makes sense. The inserters are exporting out and I'm importing into the case very fast, but the loading is still slow. So that's okay. At least I get the material in here quick. And I also upgraded like belts like this where they're exporting inserter, importing inserter as well. I did fiddle around with the rubber build and latex build. I've got 2 more pressure furnaces here. I added a fluidized bed reactor for the formamide. One of the things that's going to change going forward with the rubber, you know, and this is going to be once we get the sciences all done, this turd research crap all done, we'll start to spin back around and look at builds that need to be rebuilt. I am going to be building a ammonia build on site to the rubber, and I brought things together and it's running much better, but we can't, it's not enough. So I'm going to be building the ammonia on site to the a new rubber build, basically. Now, there is a turd research here under Vraux, which I'm going to grab, but not right now because I don't want to break anything. And this one, it takes cyanic acid, a little bit of formic acid, and hydrogen, and we get a massive amounts of ammonia. It's a 24-second craft time, though. This is going to be really good because later on we get better Vraux recipes. So I think I'm going to take this recipe here and we're going to try and use this for our rubber. So I'm not changing anything until we get this, and I'm not going to select it until we're all done. Another turd research that I'm going to grab is this one right here, the data rate upgrade. I'm not going to grab it yet. I'm going to wait. This one, it reduces the energy consumption on the data array. Yeah, the data array. And these things don't run very much, but hey, you know, I'll take it. It increases the speed. Now, what I like is that we get this cheaper, easier to build solar panel MK01. We can build this right now. Once we select this, we can build the solar panel. 1.5 megawatts is nothing to sneeze at, so I want to grab these up here. We can't build this item here. The portable solar panel, I think it changes from what it's at now, but we need lithium plate and it's not unlocked, so we can't build these. Henceforth, we can't build the new version of the data array. So I have to get the data arrays all squared away in the bio/DNA hub. Once I get all those set up, because I'm going to set up a ton of them, we're going to have them all done and available. Because I don't know how many creatures we're going to spin up, you know, going forward. But I'd like to have this all set up for fun, if anything. So I'm going to make all of these, set them up, and then we'll take this turd upgrade, and then we'll have the ability to do some solar, which I'm looking forward to doing that. That'll be kind of fun. I've looked at a few of these here and there. We got the 2 for upgrade now, Zyhifo, zippers. We're going to be going through these once the research is done. I'm going to select one of these per episode. We'll look at I'll research what we need to do and look into it and try and analyze what we got to do. And I'll try and implement that on an episode along with maybe some other stuff, you know. So that's the plan for that. Okay, what else? Let's go back up to here, if anything. We'll be adding our Trit to the train, by the way, once we get them spun up. Everything has been running amazing now that I've optimized some stuff and gotten around to doing things here and there. I think the fastwood forestry, oh, look at this. Look at that. I was having fun. I had to upgrade some stuff. Look at that. We got these long belts. Now, I don't mind about this stuff here because we'll eventually get the fast splitter, you know, and I'm okay with that. I think that's about it for the base upgrades. If you look at I've been staring at the train traffic and stuff, and as soon as I did the optimizations and the seaweed build, this base just started running like amazing. So I'm really looking forward to starting to push it more. And we've got a lot of room, you know, in and around these areas here that I can build, you know, still. Like I could pop a build in over here if I wanted to, you know. I've got room, I've got capability, so I'm not worried about space. Let's go over some Hellmod stuff here so you guys can get an idea what we're going to work on today. So we're going to do the motor and the Trit, and what I did is I broke out the optical fiber, and just to give you an idea here, the iron and niobium coating, we need Kevlar, we need copper coating, we need cladding core, cladding, and we need nitrobenzene. We're going to need niobium concentrate. We're going to need a lot of organic solvent. So Zyhifos are going to be becoming a thing, I think, too. We're going to have to get the organic solvent from them as well. We have to set them up. So it ends right here. This is everything from here on up is for this iron niobium coating. We're going to break this apart. I don't want to go through it all right now because it's just a waste of time. We're going to work on the Trits to get that's why we need that photo for. And so that's what we're going to work on. And then I want to get that labware. That's a future-proof thing. So let's go ahead and look at the science tab that I have here. Chemical science. We need this for the science pack, right? We need rubber. So that's why we want to do the labware upgrade or laboratory instrument upgrade, because we're going to have to pull some rubber over to the chemical science pack. Not only that, but we need this advanced small parts, which requires rubber. So if we're basically shifting the rubber demand a little bit away from that labware and then we have it available now for this science pack right here. Where you got the Nexalit plate, we have mechanical O1s. Might have to beef them up though. We have rubber, and we have stainless steel, and we have the advanced small parts. We're going to knock this sucker out, and then hopefully this one, whenever that'll be, along with the complex circuit board, somewhere along the line, we're going to have to do the organic acid anhydride. So we're well on our way. This one, the SAM, is we're going to have to, spin up the Navins, and we need the complex circuit board in order to make the PC MCIA card to make those, to DNA get the DNA part for it. And then we'll have the SAM eventually, but obviously we need the complex circuit board in order to do the SAM. And then we're going to be looking at the nuclear sample. I'm looking forward to this, even though it's going to be a nutty one, because I like all those materials and the cool little things we get out of it. So I'm looking forward to doing this one. That one's going to be last, though. That's going to be nutty. I want to get, obviously, moving towards the complex circuit board and the SAM so that we can get the better machinery, and then we can start to upgrade and get better production, because everything is slow right now. We're on these yellow machines, and it's getting tough. It's going to get tough if we don't have the better machines going forward. So we'll work on the Trits, get the electric motors, and upgrade our laboratory instruments in this episode. Let's get cracking. All right. I usually don't do a recording in between speed ups, but we're going to work on the Trits next, though. And I had to get back into recording. I got sick. I ate something that made me sick. I had a fever, and not my stomach, because your stomach's up high, but real down low, lower intestines. My lower intestines were just a wreck. I felt terrible, felt crappy, but I was able to, now the recording, I did the first recording, going over things that we're going to do and all that. I did that, and then I got sick, but I was able to kind of, I would get up, take some ibuprofen for the fever, and I was able to function, for bouts of time. But I got all the turd research done, and the base ran perfect. It ran overnight, and when I was sitting here I was trying to eat, and make sure I didn't get worse. I was so sick I couldn't even eat for like a day and a half. It was terrible. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. But let's go over the electric motor build real quick here. I can never find this thing. I put it by the incubated petri dish second build, right by the lab equipment, because that's where it's going to be used. This motor build, pYanodons is going to pYanodon, right? So we have aluminium, iron, copper. Well, what's duralumin? And the iron niobium? Well, it's iron, copper, and aluminium. So we have like double the crap of, you know, a normal thing. But yeah, it's a pretty fun build to do, and I like belting stuff, so I kind of enjoyed it. Now, I had to pre-build this thing because, like I said, I was sick, and then I had to shake the rust off, but I did go over it, you know, as in its built state. One thing I noticed, though, is that Hellmod was requiring 4.17. I'm thinking about knocking one of these off and going with 4 because this isn't going to run that crazy, you know. So here's the labware. I have to come over here and fix this belt and redo some stuff, but the goal is I have to underground. Oh, I have to use this underground to sideload onto the belt with the optical set. But I'm going to redo this. I'm going to have this red belt for green circuits go all the way over. I keep forgetting I can do that. I was kind of in a hurry to get this done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to underground this over here. I'm going to move the underground hood up to here and then go all the way as far as I can. But I'm going to side load onto right around and right here. So one belt section, the second belt section, and then this belt here is going to be all one. Yeah, so that's what's going to do happen there. This sucker requires green circuits. Oh no! And so I had to come in here, put a splitter here, and pop it over, and then move. I had to curve the belt and use a long armed. And the good thing is I was able to just extend the belt down from here to get the green circuits into this machine. Unfortunately, you know, the tin is just a few little sections longer. That's fine. Tin's cheap. So that was fun, but with complexity, we get 100% productivity. Okay, let's talk about this stupid thing here, these Trits. The Trits, I'll just go into the weird stuff here real quick, and then I'll build it. Well, yeah, let's go over this now. Notice how there is 8 items. Now, the blood is obviously trained differently, so we don't have to worry about that. So 7 items we're after the photos for. But, so that leaves us with 6 items. And our mini loaders can only handle 5. And so in order to alleviate, circumvent that, I put bones here and replaced it with the brains. And then on this one, I left the brain on, no bones. So one mini loader is going to handle bones, and one's going to handle brains. So that's kind of how I fixed that problem. Everything else is like, an Ulrich or an AUG build. So, a render. One of the unique things that we're going to deal with is we have wastewater coming out of here. I'm going to pipe that over on this side over here. I'm going to go backwards with it, and we're going to do the wastewater to urea, and we're going to have a pickup for urea here. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have 3 stops, one for saline water, one for wood to seeds, and then the other is going to be, it's smaller quantities. Sponge and filtration media is going to be another train stop. So we're going to have 3 train stops. So basically take this thing and invert it the other way. I did the moondrop build here already. It's nothing we haven't seen before, and the seeds are going to be side loaded onto that build, or exported onto the belt opposite of the moondrops. I already tested it and it's working. That's going to work. Okay, let's get started with this thing. Oh, I forgot to mention the LTN Combinator had an update. I think, yeah. And what's weird about this is you can have both of these on. Look at that. Which I don't know why you do that. This should toggle. I don't know. I think there was something in the patch notes about this, but if you select depot, it turns everything off, which is good. So if you select provider, notice how it turns the requester red. You can still go in there. If you take the requester, it turns the provider red. You know, so I'm like, cool. But the big one here is, look at all the slots we have now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 20 slots. So that's really good. I like that. That's a good update. Because with pYanodons, we have so much crap, you know, like 11 items. And with the hub, you know, it gets crazy, you know. So I'm really happy to see this update here. I'm really happy about it. So yeah, there was an update to the LTN combinator. I like it. It looks clean now. And maybe a little more intuitive, I guess. But yeah, the GUI looks pretty good. Okay, let's speed this sucker up and get these trits online. Oh my gosh. It's amazing being away from this game for a while. The amount of rust I got on me. Oh, jeez. I feel it. This is a train wreck. Oh my god. Well, you know what the problem with this build is? This is why oh my god. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, and they're the moondrops are coming from a different spot. Well, the moondrops and the seeds are coming from over here. Then you've got the filtration and the sponges coming from over here, and then you got the wood, which is going here, and then you got it's all this rigmarole. And then the breeding complex uses the same ingredients, kinda, sorta. Ugh. So yeah, I got a mess on my hands here. I might rebuild this thing. What the heck is this doing here? Oh yeah, I was gonna go out this way here. Okay, that's done. Yeah, the saline water is coming out this way, and I'm connecting here, and then going right into this spot. Now, this thing requires what, 5 inputs, so it's 2, 2, and 2. You have to accommodate for the Trit cub. Yeah. Let's get rid of that Trit. Yay! Finally. I should have started this up earlier. I had to do a little goofy thing with the seaweed here. If you have an inserter straight out like that, it goes on one side of the belt. So if I had, well, this situation here, the inserter will insert to the to the left side of the belt here. If you curve the belt, it will insert to the other side, the right side. Go figure, right? Kind of a weird inserter behaviors. Once you know them, you can get around it, which is nice. All right, we are breeding some Trits here. What will happen? I want to see him. I want to see it in here. I want to see the cub. Oh, we get 2 cubs from this one Trit, and this requires 1 cub, but it'll grab 2. So I'm gonna, I have to, let's see here. Yeah, I have to let this run. We'll get 4 Trits from this, so it'll build up. It'll build up the Trits pretty quick. Like I mentioned earlier, I gotta get rid of this wood. So yeah, I'll cut this out, and then I'll carry on when it's done, when it's going down the belt. Our little cubs. All right, here comes our cub. You know what's funny is that there it is right there. 2 of them. We only need, oh wow, look at that thing. Oh, and this is supposed to be like an alien whale, Look at that. That's cool looking. Poor thing's just sitting there. This is my life. Now, yeah, it's funny because we only need 1 Trit. Oh, it says massive Pacific deep water creature, a big source of photophores, skin, and fat. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Oh, a skin, huh? Never looked at the skin. Let's see here. Oh, it's actually meat. Lard. Not skin and fat. It's fat and meat more than anything else. That is pretty cool looking, though. I wish the mouth moved around, But it's just kind of floating there. That's a creepy looking whale looking thing, though, isn't it? I like it. I like it. Okay, this is going to take a while to spin up, but at least we saw the creature now. I'll have to remember to put one in the train. And then next episode, I'll start breaking down the fiber optic thing, and I'll come up with a plan. I don't know. This is scary. Yeah, because see I have to look at, well, I'm gonna get all the machines for everything. I'm gonna place them down, and then I'm gonna do some analysis as to what are we gonna use Kevlar for other things. I'm pretty sure we are, but to try and simplify the overall build. Then I want to look at this nitrobenzene, and I'm pretty sure some of this stuff is pretty. I think it's pretty well contained within this build here. Like the copper coating probably won't be used for anything but this. But yeah, nitrobenzene, I'm going to look at that. Niobium complex, it sucks because it's only a little tiny bit of that machine, you know? So it's going to be one machine, all strung out. So it's going to be weird. But yeah, I'll analyze this and I'll come up with some stuff. We already have the Yotoi alloy orchard stuff, so, you know, no worries on that. We'll put that all together. But I'd like to build this all in one area. I mean, obviously we got the aramid fiber. We have to bring that in for the for this cladding core. So yeah, I'll get this all together. Enjoy our little space whale one more time. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.